Mathieu Conjon, single-stage cyclotron driver for the Cyclades project.
So I'm going to talk about the new single-stage cyclotron driver developed for the Cyclades project. So you all know, of course, the energy amplifier. Oh, sorry. I wanted to see. Up. You know the energy amplifier of Carlo Rubbia. So it consists of in a multi-stage cyclotron used to drive a subcritical nuclear reactor based on a spallation source. So this is one of the first designs of the energy amplifier. So the different stages are quite complex, quite huge. So at the end of the 90s, the EMA company has worked with the Carlo Rubbia team to develop a more simple driver, single-stage driver called TWADE. This is the TWADE project developed with Enea in Italy. It has been developed in order to drive a trigger reactor. It is the small nuclear reactor built 60 years ago. So at the end of the 90s, we have made a design of a single-stage cyclotron called EMA 120. Sorry, 115 machine. The purpose of this machine was to accelerate H2 plus beam. This is a method developed, among others, by Luciano Calabretta a few years ago. It permits to obtain twice more intensity with the extraction, with the separation of the 2 protons of the H2 plus beam at the end of the acceleration by a stripping method. You can see the stripped trajectory at the end of the acceleration. Here you can see on the first page of the TWADE report, you can see the symbol of the single stage cyclotron and the nuclear reactor. But unfortunately, Europe didn't give additional funds, so the TWADE experiment stopped at the beginning of the years 2000. So actually, the goal of an ADS driver is to reach 600 to 800 MeV power beam with a 5 to 10 megawatt power range. We need to have a high reliability with low internal losses. It should be fine to reduce the activation of the machine, of course. The low activation will facilitate also maintenance of this machine. We need to have a high stability. It's why we have developed a new ion source system based on 3 parallel injection lines. Of course, we need to have a low-cost machine with low investment and running cost, of course. So every problem we face during the operation of an industrial accelerator-driven system should be quickly bypassed. For example, with exchangeable elements, such as exchangeable sources, exchangeable cavities, for example. We need to reduce the number of components also in order to decrease the cost of the machine. So a single-stage cyclotron is an attractive solution for an industrial ADS system. It's why we have the Cyclades consortium has chosen the new S2CD machine, single-stage driver, developed by the EMA company. It is a concept of the S2CD, single-stage cyclotron driver. Here you can see the difference comparison between 2 ADS drivers. You know the previous one, which is the multi-stage injector, multi-stage driver, made of 2 injectors, 1 intermediate cyclotron, and the final booster. You have the comparison between with our new design of a single-stage cyclotron, which is 600 or 800 MeV accelerator. So the CICLAD consortium is made of different European companies, such as the CICLAD consortium is led by CERN. So you have different companies such as Ansaldo, Enea, ITEC, of course, and INFN, more recently the Nuclear Research Center Institute of Italy. Before talking about the specifications of the S2CD, just a reminder to show you the different aspects, the different issues of a multi-stage injection, multi-stage system. This is a PSI chain. You can see on this slide the different electrostatic devices at the end of the 72 MeV injector and at the entrance and exit of the final wing machine, final booster of PSI. The problem of the multiple electrostatic devices is that they are responsible for a significant amount of breakdowns. So if you want to increase reliability, stability also, you need to decrease the number of elements, the number of electrostatic devices, such as in a PSI chain. Also, of course, if you want to reach a high yield with a low activation, of course, you need to accelerate, to extract with a single turn separation. It should be mandatory to put a septum weakly activated, of course. This is possible with new kinds of cavities, such as PSI cavity. Sorry. Also, of course, you know the Warner-Joho law. If you want to reach high intensity, you should, in a machine, increase the number of turns. The intensity, the overall intensity, is related to the number of turns in a machine. This is the main causes of problem of beam trips, of breakdowns in the PSI multi-stages cyclotron. You can see electrostatic device, I've just talked about. 27% of the beam trips of the breakdowns come from the electrostatic devices. The vacuum is also problematic. Vacuum is a big problem if you have a multi-stage machine, of course. You have different lines, you have different injections between different elements, so you need to have a good quality vacuum. Control and devices, computer controls and devices are also problematic in a multi-stage machine. You have different machines, you need to control, you need to have electronic controls, etc., etc. IQ is the ion source. Of course, we can reduce this amount of breakdowns if we use a parallel injection system. I will talk about in a moment. So these 4 parts represent a huge amount of breakdown problems in PSI. So we need to reduce these quantities. So this is a single-stage cyclotron design EMA has proposed for the CICLAD consortium. It consists in a 600 MeV machine. We could reach also, we have a design capable of reaching 800 MeV. 10 milliamps, we could reach also 12 milliamps, but let's talk about this 6 megawatt power machine. It is a 6 sectors separated by 6 cavities, which are not represented on this picture. The principle of this design is the reversed Valley field. It has been developed, let's say, 30 years ago by Michael Craddock. In fact, in the it is reverse Valley field. In fact, the magnetic field in the valleys between the magnets is reversed with respect to the field inside the magnets. So the extraction is much more simple if the extraction system is placed in the valleys. You will see extraction in a moment. Due to the, let's say, 30 megawatt consumption of the machine, we can reach 20 to 30% power efficiency. With the multiple injection system, you can see here, we can increase reliability. I will say a few words about the injection in a moment. We also reduce beam trips due to the 3 parallel injection lines. This machine is quite small with respect to previous design, with respect to the multi-stage cyclotron, for example. It is 10 meters in diameter, so there was, I think, a small there is a small footprint, weight also, so there was a low investment cost. Also, due to the fewer parts, swappable parts also, not only the source, but the cavities can be swapped also. The maintenance is quite easy. The activation is low, the maintenance is easy with this machine. Here is the magnetic field. You can see the magnetic field along a valley. You can see a classical positive field along in the central region, but at the extraction, the magnetic field is reversed. So we can put the extraction system in this negative magnetic field, so the extraction is easier. Also, the other advantage of this machine is that there is a strong difference between the field in the hills and those magnets and in the valleys. So this strong difference, flutter, allows good vertical focusing. So there is no vertical losses during the acceleration of the particles of the H2 plus beam. Also, due to this strong gradient, we don't need any more spiralization. For example, with this Triumph machine in Vancouver, there is a strong spiralization of the machine used to focus the beam. It is useless to have such a complex magnets. So here are the different challenges we have to face to develop the Cyclades single-stage cyclotron. The 50 meters long coils will be developed with our partner Ansaldo. With MGB2 used, for example, at CERN, we think we can have a wire-free cooling system, an easier cooling system. We work with CERN also to develop the double gap cavities, 1.6 megawatt. We equipped with 2 rough windows, for example. We are quite confident to develop the multiple injection system. I will show you this system in a second. We are currently developing an experimental program to validate this concept of parallel injection system. We are developing tools, computer tools to study the beam dynamics. For example, the space charge forces. In such machines, there are problems of space charge effects, but you will see it's really not really problematic. Of course, we know that this simple machine has a low number of elements and a small footprint. You can see the footprint of the S2CD 10 meters in diameter with respect to the whole Miwa design. So this is a representation of the injection system. It's not exactly the injection system, but it is the central region of the cyclotron. You can see classical injection lines. In fact, it consists of 3 classical H2 plus injection lines, axial injection lines. So there are 3 injection lines. The beam is injected by 3 inflectors separated 120 degrees from each other, and the beam merges after a bit more than one turn. In this design, the goal is to use only 2 of the 3 ion sources. We don't need to use simultaneously the 3 sources. We can only use 2 of the sources. It is the 3 milliamps H2 plus sources, classical multicusp ion sources. So with 2 of the 3 ion sources, at the exit, we can obtain a 12 milliamps proton beam after stripping. So it is quite an easy way to adjust, to tune the intensity. If we need to obtain only 10 milliamps, we can just inject, let's say, 2.5 milliamps H2 plus, or there are some losses at the central region. But if we don't need such an intensity, we can tune, we can adjust the 2 or the 3 ion sources. You can see here the simulations of space charge effects. In web, I don't know if you can see, there is a space charge effects on a 3 milliamps beam injected in one line. You can see the size of the beam of the bunch, which grows up due to the space charge effects. But at 3 milliamps, the growth of the space charge of the bunch due to the space charge is not crippling, is not really problematic. The internal losses will not be very important only at 3 milliamps. Also, if we don't need 12 or 10 milliamps, we can reduce also the intensity in one line, so you can reduce also the space charge effects. So this is a test bench we have developed, we are using in order to develop this injection. The sources will be placed in this cup, and we have a small 40 centimeters magnet in operation. You can see filament-based multicusp ion source we have developed for this design. The extraction is quite simple also. The extraction of H2 plus beam is simple with a stripper. This is the extraction of the Daedalus project you recognize maybe. In a positive magnetic field, the trajectories move inward of the cyclotron with a complex shape, complex trajectory. There are vertical problems also, vertical losses, vertical issues. This is due to the positive magnetic field of this machine. But with our new design, with the reverse valley, with the reverse field in the valleys, if we put the stripping system in a valley, you can see the protons are extracted fastly in the other direction. We accelerate H2 plus, and by stripping we extract 600 MeV proton beam. So finally, a single-stage cyclotron is a good solution for an industrial ADS driver, because the parallel sources allow the high redundancy and high reliability. We can easily adjust the intensity. If one source breaks down, we can turn the other one on. So there is a simple extraction system. less activation since there is no septum, there is no magnet, there is no septum, so the activation is quite low at the exit. The timeline is quite short because all the elements of such a cyclotron are proven yet. One injection line is classical. It has been proven several times. There was a low number of elements. One of the issues is the magnet, not only the magnet, but the coils, the new coils, new kind of coils. It's a complex shape. The coil has a complex shape as you have seen. But we are quite confident to develop such a machine, let's say, up to the year 2025, for example. It is a simple machine, so the cost estimate are about 130–40 million euros, including beamlines and ancillary equipment. You can see as a reminder this sketch represents the single stage accelerator, which gives a 6 megawatt beam. So only a small amount of electric power is used to feed this cyclotron. So it is quite simple and efficient ADS driver, I think.
Do you know how the cyclotron compares with the requirements that are put up for the meter axle?
I think I don't know exactly the characteristic of Miwa, but Miwa goes to 600 MeV, I think. We have developed this machine also in order to reach the same requirements. It is a classical requirements of an ADS, let's say 6 megawatt. 6 to 10 megawatt, I think, I don't know exactly, but I think we have the same requirements, 600 MeV.
About the energy level, I'm talking about the beam current and the number of beam trips, because for Miro they had really high requirements.
I know.
And they decided to move away from cyclotrons. And I was wondering, how does your new design match with their requirements?
Oh, I think the cyclotrons has been proven several times. Everybody knows what is a cyclotron. We know that the one single injection line is quite efficient, where it had been proven several times. So this machine is quite simple. So we are quite confident to reach a high reliability, high redundancy. So I don't see any cause of big beam trips with this machine. I talked about the cavities. If one of the cavities breaks down, I think you can see we have made simulation test with the 6 cavities working together. We can accelerate, of course, but with only 5 of the 6 cavities working, one breaks down, we still accelerate. There is a small off-centering, of course, but we can accelerate also. Even if we have one source which breaks down, one source which breaks down, we can use the other one. I don't see any other cause of beam trips, of breakdowns problem. So a single stage, this single stage driver, single stage cyclotron is reliable, I think.
The cyclotron costs 130 to 140 million euros. How much does the whole power station cost, and how much electricity would it produce?
I don't know this amount of I would say a stupid thing, but the reactor is about 1 billion euro. It's a classical reactor, so I don't know exactly the price of a classical reactor, but of course the reactor is an important part of the cost of the overall system. But if we look at only the injector, the driver, you can see the low cost of this machine. I don't know exactly the price of a nuclear reactor. It's the same price of the Miura reactor, for example.
Okay, but how much electricity would it produce?
Electricity. Oh, I don't have the. Probably Maurice Bourquin can talk about the electricity, or Ranji, I don't know if she is here. Wilma. Of course, it is a subcritical reactor, so it is lower than a classical uranium reactor. But the advantage of this machine is it is a bit cheaper than a classical nuclear system, and it has also a small footprint, so we can put several such systems in industrial solution.
Have you considered using superconducting magnets instead?
Yes, it is a superconducting magnets. Ansaldo is specialized on superconducting magnets. Also, CERN is specialized. So we worked in collaboration with ESG, Ansaldo, and CERN to develop this new kind of magnet. The complex shape of the magnet is a big problem, but after discussion with Ansaldo, it should not be problematic. We have to develop that. But I think they are quite confident to build this coil, such a coil. Using MDB2, it will be also simpler to build a superconducting coil. Yes.
With your insight, can you maybe comment why MORG is going to build LINAC?
I don't know.
You can speculate.
Sorry?
But you can speculate what are the advantages of LINAC against a cyclotron?
I really don't know why they prefer building LINAC. Probably because traditionally LINAC seems simpler. But cyclotron has been proven several dozens of years ago, so it is also a simple system. Like a simple accelerator.
In response to your question, how much power is this design? This is called the energy amplifier. It's a very old design, and it was typically said in the 110 to 120. So you inject 30 megawatts because you are injecting 30 megawatts into this accelerator system. The output should be between 300 and 600, depending on the efficiency, because you are receiving a 6 megawatt beam. What you can do with that? Typically, it's in the range between 110 and 120, something like that.
3 to 600 thermal.
Yeah. Well, electrical. Yeah. Because this is a 25-year-old science. I haven't seen
Okay. If we don't have any further questions, let's thank the speaker again.